Hi, I'm Chrissy.
And I'm Jess. And this is Financial Progress.
Hi, everyone. Before we begin, just want to say a little disclaimer. This is just a conversation between friends. This is not financial advice. Please seek the help of a financial advisor before making any financial decisions.
Thank you. Thank you, Christy. So, yes, welcome back to Financial Progress, where we tackle real life issues that impact your financial and mental well being. I'm here with my awesome co host, Chrissy.
Hey, everyone. So, today we're diving into a topic that doesn't get enough attention: the trauma of student loan debt. So we
Mm,
often hear about the numbers, the repayment plans, and the interest rates, but how about the emotional toll that it takes on you, right, Jess? So,
oh, yeah.
yes. So, how does carrying student loan debt actually affect your mental health and your life?
That is a great question. We talk about financial literacy and strategies for managing debt. But today, I feel like this is a great focus. We want to focus on the psychological impact because let's face it, student loan debt isn't just a financial burden, it's an emotional one too.
Yes. And to kick things off, I think it's important to acknowledge that we're not just talking statistics here. Jess, you've been open about your experience with student loan debt. Can you share a bit about what it was like for you?
Okay, so I gonna be honest, I still have student loan debt, right? So I started my student loan debt journey back in January of 2003 because that's when I started school. And I started at Community College of Philadelphia. And apparently, they thought that my parents made too much money for me to qualify for financial aid. Like, they probably was making like 30,000 and it was just like didn't qualify. So I remember it maybe getting a little bit of financial aid, like barely anything, and the rest came with student loans. And it wasn't a lot at that time, right? So a semester, this is like giving away age, but like the semester probably cost around $1,300 at that time.
That's
But it was
pretty cheap. I
right.
mean,
It
like
sounds
back
like
then, it was
I
like,
wish it was like that now.
right.
But that started like my debt for student loans at community college at that. To be specific, after I graduated from community, I transferred over to a university and I graduated there about $25,000 in debt. And then after a few years, I was like, hey, let me go back to school. And I went to graduate school and I doubled it. And then with interest right now, it's about 67,000. It's always been deferred or something, so I haven't paid on it. However, even though like I've been working and stuff like that, that weight of the debt was crushing. Like it's crazy. And I remember losing sleep over it, feeling guilty every time I spent money on anything that wasn't an absolute necessity. And it felt like this never ending shadow over my life, making it hard to enjoy the present or even like plan for the future.
Yeah. And that's such a common experience. And I've also experienced a lot of student loan debt couple times in my life actually. So I thought I wanted to be a hairdresser, so I went to school for
Mm-hmm.
that. I didn't come out with too much student debt. I think it was about 7,000 when I came out. I didn't graduate. I decided I didn't want to go to school anymore for cosmetology and just came out with student loan debt and no type of certification. So I didn't pay attention to it. I didn't want to tackle it or anything until I started paying attention to my finances and started paying off debt. So it just kind of just sat there. I actually did end up paying that off, but and then I went to school again to get my degree in organizational management and ended up dropping out because I keep dropping out and getting student loan debt, right? It's common for
Wait, I
me.
don't wait, you gotta elaborate. I don't even remember
Yeah,
you
so
going
that's
in.
when I was working full time and I was going to school at night. And it was an adult program. So it was like one night a week, but and
Mm-hmm.
then you had to get together with your cohort
Mm-hmm.
and like your group, and that was a couple times a week, and you could meet like virtually, in person, whatever. So I did like about a year of that, And then I
Mhm.
got into that car accident where I hurt my back, and it was very difficult for me to do school and work. So I ended up dropping school and actually took a leave of absence from work as well just to recover and do physical
Mhm.
therapy. So after that, I just didn't put it back on my priority list to go back to school, but I still had the student loan debt. And yeah, I just kind of carried that with me for years. And that one is what I added to my debt repayment payoff to pay off. So that
Okay.
one was paid off in what year did I pay off on my debt? I can't even remember. I think it was 2021. Um,
2020, 2021 sounds about right.
yeah, I think it was 2021 is when I paid off all my debt. But I went back to school
Mhm.
and had some of it covered through this. I know I talked about it before, the TRA program
Mhm.
through the state, and that was very helpful to pay for my associate's degree. But and then I went for my bachelor's degree, and I came out of school with $27,000 of debt. So I'm still working on that. I'm not tackling it right now because of the emotional turmoil. I'm like, I just,
Mhm.
it's so much. You know what I mean? Like, I want to enjoy my life. I want a vacation. I want to do this. And I just don't have the energy in me to tackle it right now. And it's in the back of my mind. And it does weigh me down. Like you mentioned, it weighs me down. It feels
Mhm.
crushing. But at this moment in time, I'm not ready to tackle it. I will get there, but right now it's just not a priority for me. And I I don't know when it will become a priority. I also thought like after I graduated I would be making more than what I'm
Mhm.
currently making. So it's also like when do you just enjoy your life? Like I've spent years paying off this debt and I applied for scholarships. I did get a few scholarships and that still wasn't enough to cover my bachelor's degree. So yeah, it's just insane. And I think that's
Mhm.
why it's very important to start saving for your kids' college early. Definitely take care of your own retirement first, but whatever you could put away for your children in the future is just so helpful so they don't come out of school with this debt.
Mhm.
Because it's just the feeling of being trapped. And these are just real symptoms of financial stress and anxiety.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And it's not just about the money, right? It's the emotional toll, and it can manifest in so many ways through anxiety, through depression, and even like physical symptoms like headaches and insomnia. Like that stuff can keep you up at night. Um,
Definitely.
mhm. And I've heard like so many people who say that their student loan debt affects every aspect of their lives, from their relationships to their career choices.
Yeah. And it can just also make you feel isolated because people don't talk about it often. You know what I mean? Like it's
Hmm.
swept under the rug a lot. And it also seems like a lot of people are just like moving forward, buying homes, starting families. And then you're stuck in
Hmm.
this like financial quicksand that just won't let up. And it's easy to fall into a cycle of shame and self
Oh,
blame and thinking if I had chosen a cheaper school or, what else could you have done? You know what I mean? Like, why didn't I spend more time applying for scholarships or things like that? But honestly, like, my feeling is the system's just stacked against us in a lot of ways. And like, the student loan debt crisis is insane and it's not getting any better because the price of school is just jumping so high and
hmm.
it's just draining. I don't know what else to say
Yeah.
about it. It's just draining.
It increases every year. But there's a couple things that you had mentioned in there that I want to go back to. Buying homes.
Hmm.
They take that student loan amount and put that towards like the debt to income ratio. And it sucks because it's
Yeah.
like, well, if it wasn't for that, I probably could qualify for, a bigger home or
Hmm.
something like that. And then you also mentioned about doing more, right? And I worked 3 jobs while I was going to school full time,
Yeah.
right? And even then, I think too, like I didn't have the financial literacy knowledge as I have now, because then I could have been like actually putting that money to the side. I was like, I had a job on Fridays, I was working at the school, and I had a part-time job Monday through Friday during the day or afternoon or something like that. And I just didn't have the knowledge either, right? Like if we would have known, we could have better prepared for something like this. But at the same time, like you said, the system is stacked against us, especially the cost of this tuition is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So let's talk about how this impacts mental health. There's actually research showing that people with high levels of student loan debt are more likely to experience depression and anxiety. And the pressure to make payments can feel relentless, especially if you're struggling to find a well paying job after graduation. And it's crazy. So, for example, they normally do, I guess, kind of like 10%, right? So, like, if you owe $67,000, your payment is $670. That's what I seem to be like matching up. Like that's how it ends up costing. Like who can afford that? Like
Yeah, that's a lot of money. And then there's like the fear of defaulting on your loans too, or the constant worry
mm-hmm,
about the interest piling up, and it just can lead to a sense of hopelessness. And it's important to realize that these feelings are valid
mm-hmm,
and that you're not alone, because it can feel very lonely. And many people are dealing with this, even if they don't talk about it openly. Like so many people have this struggle and they just don't like to talk about it. It's not
mm-hmm.
easy to talk about. Like, it sucks having to make student loan payments every month. And for me, is like, I kind of like changed my mind about getting a degree, and I kind of didn't want to go back to school. But when I was trying to find a job after I got laid off in accounting, it was very difficult for me to find a job. So without the degree in accounting. So I just decided to go back to school, get this degree, and not have to worry about it again for the rest of my life. But I didn't want to go back really. It's just like I felt like I was cornered, and if I wanted
Mm-hmm.
to make the amount that I was making before, that I had no choice but to go back to school to get this degree, or it was going to take me another, ridiculous amount of years to build myself back up, to prove myself in a company that I can do this job. I don't necessarily need this degree, but a lot of companies want that piece of paper. And I just felt like I needed to go back to get it. So I just kind of felt like I was stuck. And if I wanted to continue in accounting, that I had to get the degree. So, but yeah.
And I say that fucking sucks because you didn't need none of that education. You already had it. You had hands-on
Most of
experience for all
it.
those years.
Yeah.
And they're just saying, I just want to know that you had to pay for student loans or get student loans and that you're teachable just so you can work here. It's dumb.
Yeah. You know what I think, honestly? Like, I think a big part of why companies want to see that degree is because they put you through hell in school, and they want to make sure that you can
You
withstand the pressure and see
can-
it through and graduate. I think that's the big part of
Mhm.
why they want to see a degree, to know that you can withstand all the BS that come out on the other end, honestly, because
So
it's,
that they can put you through BS as
yeah.
well. Oh
Yeah, I
man,
just want to say, like, I just, that's not reflective of the company like that I work for. My company, I love the company I work for. They're great. They're not
it's
like
just in
that at
general.
all. But I always think, like, in the future, if I ever needed to find an accounting job again,
Hmm.
then a lot of places won't give you that chance. You know what I mean? And without that piece of paper, it's
Hmm.
very hard to find an accounting job.
Yeah.
So.
And even now where jobs are like, oh, you need a master's. Oh, you want to know that I doubled my student loan debt? Is that the real reason?
Yeah, we want to know that you're going to spend the rest of your life at this company because you need to pay off that student
Because you
loan
gotta pay
debt.
the student loans. Oh my God. Yeah, it's crazy. So what can we do about it, right? Chrissy is not just about finding a financial solution. It's also about finding ways to cope emotionally. One thing that helped me was talking about it, like especially, with my bestie, air besties, because when Naira's around, we talk about it all together. Whether it's with friends or it's with family or even a therapist, just getting out there, acknowledging that this debt was affecting me emotionally was a huge relief. But I do want to bring a slight plus side. So I have been working for nonprofits. Officially would be September 30th for 10 years. which means I should qualify for some type of student loan forgiveness.
Hopefully.
I am praying. Pray for me, y'all. Pray for
Yes.
me.
That would be a wonderful day. You have to call me to celebrate when that happens and I'm going to say when that happens because, yes.
I'm going to be like, Chrissy, let's get on our recording. I got something to share. And
Yes.
then
Yes.
cry.
I'm sure the audience would love that and appreciate it so much. But yes, I think breaking the silence around the student loan debt is really powerful. And it can feel embarrassing to admit that you're struggling, but vulnerability is key to healing.
Yes.
So beyond that, practicing self-compassion, which is something I struggle with, but that's crucial for our own personal development. Remember, you're not in debt because you failed. Often it's because the system is flawed, unfortunately.
100%. 100%.
And that distinction can make all the difference in how you view yourself because the cost of student loan debt has just skyrocketed in the last couple years and it's not what it was before. I don't know when it changed or how it changed, but it's just ridiculous right now how much you spend to get a college degree, and it's pretty sad. Honestly, it's just sad.
Yeah. And how many years you take paying it off?
Yes.
So talking about paying it off, for those of you who are in the process, focusing on the small wins is a good strategy. So if you feel overwhelmed when you're looking at the total amount you owe, if you break it down to like manageable steps, like paying off one small loan at a time, it'll give you a sense of accomplishment and control. Let's say you haven't consolidated your student loan and you have like that list, and when you look at that form and is like, oh, Stafford loan, 5,000, and there's another one, 4,000. If you use the debt snowball for your student loans, you'll feel like some type of relief paying it off.
Yeah, you definitely feel that progress being made when you can knock one off and then roll that smaller payment into the next ones, because once you pay off that balance of the like lowest one, you can roll that payment over to the principal for the next one. So keep doing that, and like Jess mentioned, the snowball effect, and it'll just make you feel like you're making progress and you're getting those little wins you need to keep going. And don't underestimate the power of community, whether it's a support group, online community, or just a friend who gets it.
Or financial progress.
Yeah, or financial progress right here. Connecting with others who are in the same boat can definitely be incredibly validating. And it reminds you that you're not alone. And together we can share resources and tips and encouragement. And just remember, you can do it. It'll take time, but you can do it. And just get those little wins in, and yeah, you'll get it paid off at the right time, right? Like right now, I mentioned I'm not focusing on paying off my student loan debt right now at this moment. I might change that in a year or so, but we'll see. I'm not worried about it right now. I'm making my minimum payment on my student loan debt right now. But I don't plan on having it around for the rest of my life or like the next 10 years. I definitely want to get it paid off.
It's just not a priority.
Right now, it's not a priority.
Yeah. No. And again, this is not financial advice. This is just,
yes.
We're just not prioritizing.
This is just a conversation between friends. That's all this is. Exactly. Please, yeah, get the help of a financial advisor.
Or a financial counselor at this point, right? Yeah. So that also helps.
Yes. And because there's definitely trauma that goes along with this student loan debt, and definitely working it out with a financial counselor can be helpful.
So where do we go from here? If you're listening and you're feeling the weight of student loan debt trauma, know that there are steps that you can take. Reach out for help, like we just mentioned. And it's okay not to have all the answers right now.
Yes. And remember, this is a marathon, not a sprint. And it's also about managing your debt while also managing your well-being, which is way more important.
Yeah.
So take it one day at a time. Don't be afraid to ask for support. And you're more than your debt, and you deserve to live a life that's not defined by it.
Yes. Preach, Chrissy. Love it. And with that, we are wrapping up today's episode on student loan debt trauma. If you found this discussion helpful, please share it with others who might be dealing with the same challenges. And as always, we're here to continue the conversation, so reach out with your thoughts, questions, or experiences.
Yeah, so thanks for tuning in, everyone. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.